Hi, I'm John Cash. Welcome to John Cash Ministries and Revelations Church's Daily Devotion. Today I want to talk about this. Desiring the things of this world, the easy life, can break your heart and can break the heart of God. We're going to go into Genesis chapter 13. We're going to look at verses 10 through 13. Now, let me set this up. We have Abram, who becomes Abraham later in Genesis, and Lot. They've left Egypt. They're very rich. They become very rich in Egypt. They leave Egypt, and they're traveling together. They're herds together. There's so many of them, in particular, so many animals, that the land cannot support the animals. So they decide that they need to separate because there's fighting going on among their herdsmen and their workers, and there's simply not enough food for the animals. And remember, the wealth of an individual was measured by their gold, silver, but in particular, how many animals they had. So they decide to separate. So we have Lot going one direction, and we have Abram going the other direction. Now look at verse 10. The Bible says this: Lot looked up and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, toward Zoar. Now, here, Lot looks off toward the east. This is east of Jerusalem, and past the desert, and he goes into a very well-watered area like the garden of the Lord. In other words, this land would support all his animals. It would support his wealth. This land would make him even richer. I mean, you can't take the animals into a land that's not well watered, doesn't have a lot of vegetation. The animals would die or they would suffer. So he finds a spot where his animals will thrive and he will become richer and richer. And the Bible says, by the way, it says in this area, this was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So we're going to see he's moving into a land that is not a moral land, and the people in that land were corrupt. The Bible says in verse 11, so Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. So Abram chooses a location actually just a few miles south of modern Jerusalem. This was a good spot for Abram. God saw what Abram did. He chose a good spot. The people in that area wasn't that corrupt, and God blessed Abram. But Lot, he pitched his tent. When it says pitched his tent, it means that he settled in this area near Sodom. That's Sodom, of Sodom and Gomorrah. This Sodom is where we get the modern term sodomy. Sodomy is a detestable practice before God, homosexuality between men. So you got to ask yourself, when he pitched his tents in this area, did he notice the corrupt culture? So Lot was no stupid man. Of course, before he pitched his tents, he knew exactly what he was getting into. He was literally going into a culture that the Bible says in verse 13, watch this. Now the men of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. And a few chapters later, he destroys it all. But let's just focus on what in the world is going through Lot's mind. Here's what's going through his mind. Wow, money. My herd's going to increase. I'm going to become richer. Lot, these people are corrupt. This is not good. Don't worry about it. We're going to become richer and richer. They won't bother me. They're not going to corrupt me. Well, folks, a few chapters down the road, we see Lot taking his two daughters, throwing them out of the house, and allowing the men of the town, Sodom and Gomorrah, to rape them brutally all night long. The culture got to him. Now, folks, here's what I'm trying to say. Lot was searching for the easy life. It was more important to him. Money, materialism, the easy life was more important to him than morality and God. He made a very unwise choice here. He broke God's heart. His family was affected greatly. Remember what happened to his wife. She was turned into a pillar of salt when she looked back when Sodom and Gomorrah was being destroyed. So here's what God is trying to tell us, folks. Keep your focus on the Lord. Do not focus on materialism and wealth and the easy life and loving this world. Instead, focus on Him. Life is a test of priorities to see who we will follow. Will we follow the all-American, almighty American dollar, or will we follow Jesus first? I say, choose wisely. God bless you. Thank you for your support of John Cash Ministries and Revelations Church. If you're considering a year-end gift to bless the ministry, we very much appreciate it.